This thrilling story begins by showing a great magician named Gregory. Gregory possessed immense powers, which he used for the good of people. We see Gregory standing atop towering mountains, engaged in a fierce battle with a dangerous witch named Melen. Gregory was so powerful that he managed to imprison Melen inside the mountain. To ensure that she could never escape, he cast a powerful spell, creating an unbreakable barrier around the area, preventing any force from getting out. Gregory believed that by imprisoning the witch this way, everything would return to normal. With that thought, he mounted his horse and returned to his kingdom. Years passed peacefully, but then came the night of the red moon, a night when all witches' powers doubled. Melen, who had been trapped inside the mountain for so many years, also gained immense strength. Using her newfound power, she transformed into a massive dragon and broke free from her prison. Now stronger than ever, she had only one goal: revenge against Gregory, the man responsible for her imprisonment. Meanwhile, Gregory is shown with his student, William. It seemed as though Gregory, now old, was retiring from his duties. He had stopped helping people entirely. However, despite his age, his magical powers and fighting spirit remained undiminished. One day, several soldiers came to capture Gregory, but he refused to surrender and fought them off effortlessly with his magic. No one could match his strength. Amidst all this, William tells Gregory about a man whose daughter had become possessed and was in grave danger. Only Gregory could save her. Gregory couldn't ignore the plea for help, so he left with William to rescue the girl. Upon arriving, he realized that she was truly under the control of a demonic spirit. He began chanting his magical spells to drive the entity out of her body. But soon, he discovered something terrifying. The entity possessing the girl was none other than the dangerous witch, Melen herself. Melen wanted to torment Gregory through the girl's body, but defeating Gregory was no easy task. Gregory began chanting powerful and dangerous spells, forcing Melen to leave the child's body and reveal herself in her true form. Now, in her real form, Melen had grown even stronger than before. She glared at Gregory and declared, "No matter what happens, I will have my revenge on you." Using her powers, Melen transformed into a massive dragon. However, when she realized that Gregory was overpowering her, she attempted to flee. But Gregory and William coordinated their attack perfectly, trapping the witch inside a magical net, one that Gregory had specially designed to capture such dark entities. As Melen was being pulled into the net, she suddenly grabbed William and dragged him in with her. Gregory was deeply concerned because William was a young apprentice who had only recently joined him. Inside the net, Melen threatened to kill William, and before Gregory could react, she mercilessly took his life. Furious, Gregory attempted to burn the witch alive, but in the next moment, the magical cage shattered completely, breaking the spell. Taking advantage of this, Melen, the dangerous witch, escaped, flying away into the night. She had brutally killed Gregory's student and was now completely free. Gregory was left devastated, unsure of what to do, but one thing was certain: he would take his revenge. Sometime later, in a distant village, we see a boy named Tom. Tom belonged to a very poor family and was struggling to survive. His family raised animals and sold their byproducts in the market to make a living. Meanwhile, Gregory arrives near Tom's house. Here, we learn that Tom had been experiencing strange visions, but what were these visions? Even Tom himself couldn't understand what was happening. Whether he was awake or asleep, he kept seeing these strange visions. Meanwhile, Gregory arrived at Tom's home and spoke to his mother. He revealed a shocking truth: Tom was the seventh of the seventh son, meaning the seventh child of the seventh generation. According to an ancient prophecy, such a child would possess immense power and would be destined to help eradicate all evil forces. Gregory requested Tom's parents to allow him to take the boy for training so that he could join their team and fight against darkness. He explained that, in the future, Tom would become incredibly powerful. To persuade them, Gregory even offered Tom's father and family a significant amount of gold coins. Tom's father agreed without hesitation, but his mother was deeply worried. Even though she understood that Tom had a great destiny, she feared for his life. However, Tom reassured her, saying that he was born for something extraordinary, and he needed to embrace his destiny and become the best version of himself. Only then would he truly understand the meaning of his life. Seeing her son's determination, Tom's mother felt both proud and emotional. Before he left, she gave him a special locket, which Tom wore around his neck. Then, he departed with Gregory, heading toward an unknown destination where his training would begin. Meanwhile, the dangerous witch Melen was seen entering her ancient castle, which had long been abandoned and had turned completely dark. Inside, she found another witch, her sister, Dory. Dory's current state was a result of past battles against Gregory and his allies. Using her powers, Melen restored Dory to her youthful form. But she didn't stop there. She unleashed even more of her energy to restore the entire castle, bringing it back to its former glory. In an instant, the ruined structure transformed into a grand, royal palace, just as it had been in the past. Now, with her elder sister by her side, Dory decided to form an army so they could finally take their revenge. Back in the village, Gregory had begun training Tom. The two had just arrived in a new place, where Tom's real journey was about to begin. Tom soon realized that Gregory was highly respected in the area. Gregory even gave Tom some money so he could buy food from the market, showing that he belonged to a wealthy and noble family. Tom's training had begun, but he wasn't taking it seriously yet. Instead, he was more interested in exploring the kingdom and all its wonders. One day, while wandering through the market, Tom saw a girl being tortured by several soldiers. At that moment, something clicked in his mind. He had seen this girl before, in his visions. Recognizing her from his dreams, he immediately rushed to save her. Using his quick wit, Tom managed to pull the girl aside and help her escape from the soldiers. No one questioned him because they all knew he was Gregory's student. However, before Tom could ask her anything, the girl suddenly ran off. But what happened next was shocking. The girl went straight to Melken's grand palace. It was then revealed that her name was Alice, and she was the daughter of Melken's sister, Dory. In other words, Alice was also a witch. Now, Melen was guiding Alice, telling her that they needed to form an army and begin attacking people. Melken's power was growing steadily, and she was using it to build her forces. Meanwhile, on the other side, Gregory was seen traveling with Tom. They arrived at the home of one of Gregory's old allies, a monstrous being named Tuss. This place was where Gregory had spent his childhood. Inside the house, Tom noticed numerous posters and portraits, all of Gregory. This made it clear that Gregory was no ordinary man. He was a legendary warrior, one of the elite soldiers who fought against evil and kept dark forces away from humanity. Until now, Tom had assumed Gregory was just a regular person, but this discovery changed everything. However, in his younger days, Gregory was extremely brave and powerful. His goal was to train Tom to become just like him, so that Tom could carry on his legacy. Gregory explained to Tom that the dangerous witch, Melen, would become even more powerful on the night of the blood moon. They had to either kill her or seal her away before that night arrived. If Melken's powers grew unchecked, not even Gregory would be able to stop her. That was why Gregory wanted Tom to learn everything properly and assist him in battle. That night, Gregory went upstairs, while Tom lay down to sleep. But at midnight, Tom began hearing strange noises. Curious, he followed the sounds and found himself near a soldier. The soldier seemed lifeless at first, but suddenly, it came to life, its body filled with dark energy, and it attacked Tom in a rage. Tom's training was still incomplete, so he wasn't skilled enough to fight back properly. He tried his best to dodge the attacks and escape, but the possessed soldier kept coming at him, ready to kill. Just in time, Gregory arrived. With a swift strike of his sword, he destroyed the cursed soldier. However, he was furious at Tom. Gregory was disappointed because Tom couldn't even protect himself. How could he possibly protect others in the future? Gregory scolded Tom harshly, telling him that he had the potential, but his skills had yet to awaken. Determined to prove himself, Tom suddenly grabbed a sword and hurled it toward Gregory with intense precision. Gregory was impressed. For the first time, he saw a glimpse of the warrior Tom could become. Now convinced that Tom had real potential, Gregory decided to tell him everything, about the many enemies they were up against. The first and most dangerous of them was a powerful foe named Grev. Grev possessed dark powers that allowed him to take any form he desired. Gregory knew that Melen would definitely try to recruit Grev into her army. That meant their first mission was clear: capture Grev and eliminate him as soon as possible. Gregory and Tom were just about to set off on their journey when a group of soldiers arrived, requesting Gregory's help. They had managed to capture a massive and extremely dangerous bear. Gregory and Tom quickly followed them to the site, but the moment Gregory saw the creature, he realized it was no ordinary bear. Ordering all the soldiers to step back, he approached it with only Tom by his side. Gregory knew at once, this was Grev, who had taken the form of a bear. As soon as Grev sensed that his disguise was exposed, he transformed back into his true form and attempted to attack. But against Gregory, such tricks were useless. Using his magic, Gregory weakened Grev significantly. He then turned to Tom and commanded him to finish the job, set Grev on fire and kill him. Tom hesitantly stepped forward, holding a burning torch. But he couldn't do it. He had never taken a life before, and despite trying his best, he simply couldn't bring himself to kill Grev. Gregory was furious. He set Grev ablaze himself and walked away in frustration. What troubled Gregory the most was that if Tom couldn't even fight minor enemies like Grev, How could he possibly stand against Melen, one of the most dangerous witches? The battle ahead would require immense power that Tom clearly did not yet possess. Meanwhile, on the other side, Melen and her allies were preparing for war. She had now assembled a vast and terrifying army, one filled with demons, dark soldiers, and creatures so ruthless that they could devour entire armies. Her forces were fully prepared for battle, but Melen held them back, waiting for the blood moon night. To ensure their success, Melen sent Alice to spy on Tom and keep a close watch on him. When Alice met Tom, he had no idea of her true intentions. Instead, he struck up a conversation with her, unaware of the danger she posed. Looking at both of them, it seemed like it was love at first sight. Alice and Tom grew closer as they talked, developing feelings for each other. However, while Tom was with Alice, he started having visions. In these visions, he saw a dangerous witch named Melen brutally killing Gregory and taking over the entire world. Tom couldn't understand whether these were real premonitions or just dreams. The next morning, Gregory realized that Tom had developed feelings for a witch. So, he sat Tom down and warned him not to fall in love with a witch, as it would only bring him harm and could lead to the destruction of all humanity. Gregory repeatedly told Tom not to stray from his mission because these witches were sent to distract him. In other words, Alice was a witch, and she was merely following orders. To make Tom understand, Gregory shared his own story. Years ago, when Gregory was young, he had fallen deeply in love with a witch. They became close and even decided to stay together. That witch was none other than Melen herself, who had now become extremely dangerous. When the people of Gregory's village found out about his relationship with a witch, they refused to accept it. His family even forced him into marriage with someone else. Melen, consumed with rage, could not tolerate this betrayal. In her fury, she killed Gregory's wife. From that moment on, Gregory harbored immense hatred for Melen. He hunted down and eliminated many of her allies, but he knew that capturing Melen was crucial. So, some time later, Gregory pretended to rekindle his love for Melen and successfully trapped her in the mountains using his magic. But now, Melen had returned, stronger than ever, with double the power. This was the reason Gregory was desperately trying to make Tom understand that he must not go down the wrong path. Whether Tom truly understood or not would soon be revealed. But one thing was certain, an incredibly dangerous battle was about to unfold. Now, Gregory, along with Tom and Tusk, was advancing in another direction when suddenly a massive monster attacked them. It was as if the creature had been waiting for them and was working for someone. Tusk attempted to fight the monster, but its strength was overwhelming. Even together, they couldn't overpower it. So, to save themselves, the three of them jumped into the water. But the monster was so fierce that it leaped from above and started chasing them. Seizing the opportunity, Tom pointed out a narrow passage between the rocks. As they entered it, they managed to safely escape. When Tom emerged from another side of the water passage, he found Dory standing before him. Dory immediately drew her sword, ready to kill him. However, the moment she saw the magical locket around Tom's neck, she stopped. Dory instantly realized that this locket belonged to her sister, Melen, and had been stolen years ago. As long as Tom wore this magical locket, no one could touch him. Understanding this, Dory quickly changed her approach and rushed away to inform her sister. A little later, Gregory arrived, and Tom explained everything to him, including the magical locket. It was only then that Gregory realized the truth. He revealed that this locket once belonged to the Princess of the Witches, and whoever possessed it could double their powers. Many years ago, Melen had owned this locket, but another powerful witch had stolen it from her. Because Melen no longer had the locket, Gregory was able to capture her at that time. After thinking for a while, Tom finally realized the shocking truth. His mother was none other than that very witch. This meant he was from the bloodline of witches. Now that Melen had learned that the magical locket was with Tom, she immediately sent several of her dark allies to attack him. All the soldiers attacked Tom's family, trying to kill them. But at that moment, Tom's mother revealed her true form. Using her witch powers, she started fighting back and killing the attackers. However, by using her powers, she unknowingly revealed her location to Melen. Melen appeared before her and began torturing her. Knowing that Tom's mother no longer possessed the magical locket, Melen took advantage of the situation and ultimately killed her. Now certain that the magical locket must be with Tom, Melen began manipulating Alice. She ordered Alice to go to Tom and bring back the locket. In return, she promised not to harm Tom. Alice loved Tom, and his safety was more important to her than anything. Under Melen's influence, she went to Tom and tried to deceive him. Blinded by love, Tom was unable to see right from wrong. Alice was just about to succeed in her plan when Gregory arrived. Gregory tried to capture Alice, but Tom, deeply in love, helped her escape. After Alice had fled, Gregory asked Tom where his locket was. That's when Tom realized that the locket was missing. Alice had stolen it. Tom finally understood that Alice had been deceiving him from the beginning. Realizing his mistake, he rushed into the forest to find her. Shortly after, a group of soldiers appeared before him, ready to capture him. Tom couldn't fight them all alone, so Gregory and Tusk arrived just in time to help. A fierce battle broke out, causing massive destruction. The dark magic-infused soldiers overpowered them. They threw Tom and Tusk into the water, rendering them unconscious, and captured Gregory. Now, they were taking Gregory to Melen's castle. Perhaps she intended to finally kill him and take her revenge. As Tom lay unconscious, he had visions of his mother. In the vision, she was revealing the truth about his internal powers. Since Tom was born as the seventh child of a human and a witch, his body possessed immense hidden powers. He just needed to unlock them. Meanwhile, inside the castle, Melen now had the magical locket in her possession. And tonight was the night of the blood moon, the moment when she would become more powerful than ever. She had even taken control of Gregory, forcing him to act according to her will. However, Alice began to believe that Tom was dead and realized that Melen had deceived her. Feeling betrayed, she confided in her mother, Dory. Seizing the perfect opportunity, Alice managed to snatch the magical locket from Melen's neck and ran away with it. Without the locket, Melen's powers started to weaken. Furious, she transformed into a massive dragon and chased after Alice, intent on killing her. But Dory could not stand by and watch her daughter die. She, too, transformed into a giant dragon and engaged Melen in battle. The sky lit up with flames as the two dragons clashed, creating a terrifying scene. Though Alice had been influenced into doing Melen's bidding, her love for Tom had always been genuine. At this moment, Tom arrived at the battlefield and somehow managed to retrieve the magical locket. As the battle raged on, it became clear that Melen was overpowering her sister, Dory. Dory begged Melen to forgive Alice, but Melen declared that anyone who stood in her way would die. Without hesitation, she killed her own sister. Meanwhile, Tom had finally unlocked his inner powers. With the magical locket enhancing his abilities, he became even stronger. Charging forward, he defeated every dark entity that stood in his path. By now, Melen had grown significantly weaker. She encountered Gregory alone and thought about killing him on the spot. But before she could strike, Tom arrived and saved Gregory. Without hesitation, Tom set Melen's body ablaze, ensuring that she would never return. As Melen burned, everything around her started to collapse. With her destruction, peace was finally restored. Recognizing Tom's extraordinary abilities, Gregory stepped down from his position and passed his role to Tom. From that moment on, Tom became the protector of the entire kingdom. And now, Tom could finally be with Alice. The two of them looked incredibly happy together. And with that, our story comes to an end.